5 seconds, 2 seconds, ready. Sir, yesterday I was making a point that so far as the present bill is concerned, it tries to make the nomination a simpler procedure than what was obtaining under the old act. The only difference is this. As I said in the beginning, after the last general elections, it was found that in certain areas there were a number of applications which were rejected on the ground that the nominations that were filed were not found in order. Therefore, there was a feeling at one time that we might provide for some procedure by which that matter could be taken to some independent authority. That was the proposal made by the select committee which was appointed in respect of the former bill which was introduced in 1953 and ultimately withdrawn. However, when this matter was again considered by the select committee on the present bill, they thought that if at all the judicial authority was going to be interposed at this stage, then the object of having simultaneous elections was likely to be defeated. It might easily happen. Suppose in respect of a certain matter of disqualification, the matter was allowed to be referred to some authority. It would naturally be subject to the proceedings that might be taken under the powers vested in the High Court under the Constitution or be subject to appeal to the Supreme Court. Therefore, the election program with respect to a general election would be set aside. Ultimately, it was thought that the best way to deal with the problem would be to try to obviate and eliminate as many chances of improper acceptance of applications as possible. Honorable members will find that the question of nomination for candidates is now made very simple and there is practically no chance of any nomination paper being rejected because it has been laid down in the act itself that the returning officer shall correct if there is a mistake with respect to the number or some such technical mistake. As I said yesterday, we have removed the restriction as to the number to which one voter may subscribe. But the only thing that is now required is that there should be somebody to propose the name of certain other persons. There was also a proposal by some honorable members of this house that we might do away with that proposal also. Then the next question is with respect to his being disqualified on the ground that he was interested in government contracts, or he was a convicted person, and so many other things. In that connection, it was found that this was not a matter which could be summarily disposed of, and ultimately it has to be left in spite of all that is said and done to the election objection which may take place. But I am sure that a man who wants to stand as a candidate to the Legislative Assembly of a state or to the House of the People will naturally think twice before he applies. So that is the scheme so far as nominations are concerned under this act. The next item refers to expenditure, and honorable members are aware that after the general election, practically every party and every candidate complained that the form of return of election expenses was so complicated that it was difficult for them to comply with it. In the first place, there were some overlapping items or categories. Naturally, when a man stood for election, it was found very difficult for him to find out whether the expenditure was on account of the clerks, messengers, this thing or that thing. It was therefore found necessary that the complicated form of returns should not be there. What is now required is that the man should only keep an account of what he is spending, and there should be some ceiling on the expenditure to be incurred, because if there is no liability to keep an account, naturally the question of fixing a ceiling would be meaningless. It is from that point of view that some provision has been made in this bill to the effect that he should keep an account and ultimately he should file a copy of the record. As the honorable members might be aware, in one of the cases it was thought that there was no fixed date from which the candidate should keep an account, and one tribunal went to the length of saying that the man should keep an account from the time when he offered himself as a prospective candidate. Now that difficulty has been obviated by saying that account shall be kept only from the date on which the constituency is asked to return candidates till the date of their election. Then, sir, another important item was with respect to the program of election. One thing that I would like to point out is that formerly the program was rather considered to be too long, and now it has been cut down.